So first of all, I would like to give credit to Stefan from projectlifemastery.com, who came up with this idea of the 3 levels of mastery. So the level 1 is knowing. So often many people, they know something, or they believe they know something, but it's only in their mind. So, you can't learn how to drive a car by reading a book about how to drive a car. It doesn't matter. You can't learn how to approach a man or woman by reading books on how to approach a man or woman. You actually have to do it. And most people, they get stuck in that first level of mastery, which is only knowing in their mind. And I used to be that way too. And even today, to a certain extent, I'm still that way. So I really try to make sure that I'm actually taking action every day and learning what I'm actually, and doing what I'm actually learning. So that's the first level of just knowing intellectually. And you want to go to the next one, which is doing. So you're actually doing something, and on a regular basis. So it might be something you do a few times a week, or even every day. And so the second level is doing. And the last one is actually living it. So it's when you really master the topic, you master something. I remember one time I got a review from a book I wrote on habits, and the person basically said, there is nothing new in the book. So that's, I believe, the typical idea of trying to find something new, trying to find some shortcuts. But the point is, it doesn't matter if you don't, if you know it, or if there's nothing new. The point is, are you actually doing it yourself? And are you actually living it? So for instance, I don't need to buy a book on habits myself, because I already know what I need to do. So maybe that person is not actually doing it. He or she just knows it intellectually. So one of the key mindsets that you want to have if you want to master something is understanding that you can always learn, you can always grow, and you can always improve. And as long as you keep persevering and you're being patient, you will be able to improve over time. So it's a very key principle you want to have in order to master any skill that you want to master in your life. So I'm going to talk about 6 different principles that you want to master in order to really become a master. The first one is repetition. So you want to make sure that you have a consistent practice. I like to have daily habits, so I have a morning ritual. So every day I'm going to meditate, every day I'm going to write something, because I mainly write books. So I make sure that every single day I'm writing. So it's my daily habit, my way of doing something and actually living it. So repetition, very important. The second point is you want to apply everything you learn. So if you buy a course online, for instance, you don't want to go through each videos one after the other. You feel, oh, it's very interesting. Oh, let's watch the next video. But if you don't apply what you learn, you're never going to get results. And you're going to ask for a refund, or you're going to give up after a couple of weeks. And you want to have the mindset that when you invest in something, you invest in a book, you invest in a program or in a course, you want to really master it. You decide, I'm going to get my money back, I'm going to get my return on investment by taking action consistently and applying everything that I learn in that course. That's the second point, apply everything you learn. And the third point is to focus on one thing at a time. One of the major problems people have is that they have what we call the shiny object syndrome. So they start a new diet for a week, for a month, maybe a couple of months, then they give up. And they look for another diet that seems more promising. And they give up. And another diet, and they give up. And people do that all the time. So in the end, they never really master anything in their life. And you really want to decide what to focus on in your life. So you want to decide one major goal in a certain area of your life. And you want to commit for the next 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, or even 10 years. Because when you build a business, for instance, you have to be very patient. You have to think long term. So 5 years down the road, or even 10 years down the road. And it's actually the point number 4, which is be patient. So I know it sounds very easy or simple, like you need to be patient, but it's so important. And I believe that patience is a highly underrated. Patience is very important because sometimes you need a year, 2 years to start getting some results. And for instance, most people online who have a blog or maybe they start to create a business, they're going to give up after 6 months or after a year or even after 2 years. But when you create your own business, you want to make sure that you're actually persevering for more than 2 years, 3 years, 5 years or more. And you really want to have this mindset when you get started in the first place. Because if you don't, you're going to give up. That's almost guaranteed. And in fact, when I started my blog in 2014, I almost gave up. I took what I called a long break for, I don't know, maybe 6 months, and then I came back. But this time I was more committed. So I really decided that I'm going to stick to what I'm doing for many years until I actually start getting some results with my business. So that's the point number 4. The point number 5 is mastering the fundamentals. So it might sound very simple, but even the best players, people in the world, they always go back to the fundamentals. I remember a story of Tiger Woods, who wanted to improve his swing. He wanted to become even better. And he was already one of the best in the world. So he found a coach and he had to relearn how to swing, how to do the basics, the fundamentals. So think about now you in your personal life. If Tiger Woods needs to go back to the fundamentals to become the best, what about you? You probably need to come back to the fundamentals and to, again, apply everything you already know in your mind, but apply it and start taking more action consistently in your life. So that's the point number 5. And the last point is you want to think long term. You want to have a long-term mindset, long-term mentality, because anything of value in your life is going to take a lot of time, a lot of work, and probably way more work than you believe right now. And you really have to think long-term, 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road, when you start building a business or you have certain goals that are really important to you in your life. So that's the last point. You really want to think long-term. So I'm going to repeat what I just said. So the first point, the 3 levels of mastery. So it's knowing. So knowing is when you know something intellectually but not really doing it, it's just only in your mind and it has no effect and you get no results. So you want to get out of that level of just knowing. You want to start doing, which is level 2, when you start actually doing something about what you learned, about a course, about a book, about a seminar, about a diet. You're actually taking action. And then you want to master, you want to live it, you want to live your skills, you want to know it, you want to be able to teach it to someone else. And in order to do that, you really need to practice every day, consistently. You want to do it again and again and again until you actually master it. So that's the level 3, which is living it. That's what you want to aim for. You want to live it, you want to know it, but not just intellectually. You want to know it by doing it. And the key mindset you want to have in order to master any skill you want is that you can always learn, you can always grow, you can always improve. And as long as you are perseverant and patient enough, you can always become better at what you do. So you want to think long term. And don't get discouraged because you fail a couple of times, or 10 times, 20 times, 100 times. You want to keep going and become more perseverant, knowing that in the end you will improve, you will become better. And then we have the 6 key principles of mastery. So level 1 is repetition. You want to make sure that you're repeating the same thing again and again and again. And if possible, every day. So daily. Have a daily habit. that will help you support your goals. And the second point is you want to apply everything you learn. So again, you buy something, a book, course, a seminar, you apply everything you learn, and you do it again and again. You repeat, same process. The third point is you want to focus on one thing at a time. So find an important goal you have, and you focus on it for the next 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. And each time you get distracted, you focus back on your goal. You never give up. You keep persevering. And the fourth point is you want to be patient. So again, you want to think long term. You have time. Don't get frustrated. Don't get disappointed by failures. And keep persevering. Be patient. And point number 5 is mastering the fundamentals. So again, you go back to the fundamentals, make sure you understand the basic of what you're doing, that you have a strong understanding of your skill and what you need to succeed. And the last point is you want to think long term. I know I say the same thing, but it's also part of the mastery mindset, repeating the same thing again and again until we actually understand it, until we actually get it, not in our mind, but really understand it at a deeper level. So that's the mastery mindset that I wanted to talk about today. So again, a very critical mindset to have in your life in order to succeed at any of your goals. So make sure you watch the video again, you take action consistently in your life. And instead of doing 80% study and 20% practice or action, you want to take 80% action and just 20% of studying something. That's what I would advise you to do. So that's it for this video on the mastery mindset. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye.